Wagwan masses, welcome back to One Aim Sports. And match day two is in the books, so we're gonna get right into our reviews of the matches and see how a lot of these teams are settling in and how the groups are looking so far. Without further ado, let's get right into it. All right, starting off the game week, we were back in Russia again. We had Lokomotiv taking on Bayern and Shakhtar taking on Inter. Bayern took care of business, but it wasn't as comfortable as we've come to expect from the German Giants. It was a little shaky there. They did get a couple players back, Sane, Gnabry, but 2-1. Lokomotiv played respectfully, and in the end, Bayern is Bayern. They still have 6 points leading the group. On the flip side, we had Shakhtar versus Inter. Inter again, super reliant on Lukaku. Wherever he goes, they kind of go. He wasn't able to score, and they weren't able to put anything on the board. Shakhtar coming off their big win from against Real Madrid. They did push some pressure on. It was a good performance. I did catch a lot of that game. It was a good game. It wasn't too boring, but I think they might be developing a problem between Conte and Lautaro. Lautaro has the big number 10 on his back, and he's now kind of constantly being the guy that's getting substituted. And he's not finding the net. Like, I know from me playing, if I do all the work and I tire the defenders out, and I feel like I still have energy left, I should be the guy that capitalizes late in the game and can get that goal, kind of like what Martial did with Man U, but we'll get to them in a bit. All right, on from there, we had both Madrid sides in action, a couple other teams, but we'll start out with them. We had Atletico versus RB Salzburg. Again, great game, 3-2 in favor of Simeone. He's been under some pressure as well. Side has kind of been underperforming, but I feel like this game was a coming out party somewhat for João Felix. He was all over the highlights. Like I wasn't able to watch the game, but from what I've seen, extended highlights, everything that I've seen, like he was just balling out. He was having a ball. He tried a scissor kick in the first half. He was the guy, the totem pole. Everything was attracted to him. He was taking the most shots, and he ended up getting the winner. Salzburg again and Schlabberschlei. Yeah, they're to be respected, man. The Red Bull network of scouting is, the best in the world right now. They're right there with PSG. I put PSG second because just how many stars they have out there in the wild. But that Red Bull system is working. But yeah, just a great game. On the flip side, we had Real Madrid versus Borussia Mönchengladbach. And as I said, in my draw preview before, these teams are nothing to play with. And Real Madrid came out flat. They looked boring and drawn. They maybe underestimated them. And Thuram, capitalizing, bullied, ran harder, wanted it more. And for 65 minutes of the game, whenever Thuram got substituted, but for that entire period of the game before Thuram got substituted, they were second best. They made a couple substitutions. They brought on Hazard, which should have scored. They brought on Modric, and they got a little bit more lively. But it's like Real Madrid doesn't want to play if it's not Barcelona or if they're down, and they can start taking a team seriously. This is the second Champions League match week in a row that they're down a significant amount, and they have to fight back. First time was 3-0. They got 2 goals. They still lost. This time it was 2-0. They got 2 goals. They tied. If that's going to be the pattern, they might not even make it out the group. So my prediction was completely wrong. Zidane has to really watch himself. He was maybe 10 minutes away from having a real stern talk with the executive board there over at Real, because they're expected to come out of this group. You don't after 2 games, you wouldn't expect Real Madrid to have 1 point. It's not looking too great. They still have a gelling problem. And unlike a couple other teams, which I'll mention later, they didn't have a COVID problem. So the excuses are not many. They are leading La Liga. So, he's okay for now. but they don't have that many games left. They need to probably win every game from here on out to kind of match expectations and go into the knockout round with full confidence and have the board believing that they can win the Champions League. All right, we have a couple other quick fire games. Don't really have much strong of an opinion. A lot of the results were expected. Porto Olympiacos, one of those where I feel like they're fairly even, but Porto drag it out. They had more quality on the day. They won 2-0. Man City, Marseille. Man City is just a stronger team overall. Even though they kind of been stuttering out of the blocks a little bit, took care of business though where it counts. 3-0 win is just deserves there. Liverpool, Midtjylland, we expected the result, maybe not how it happened, but Liverpool are kind of being hit by the injury bug. They also just lost Fabinho as well. I expect them to be in the market in January. They look for a new center back. But for the most part, everybody before the game week started expected this to be cruise for Liverpool. Yes, Salah did have to score a 90-minute penalty, but Midtjylland didn't score on there, and they did have chances though. But it looks as comfortable as it is. And then the surprise game for me of the round, I do respect Ajax, but I thought Atalanta was definitely going to smack them up. Like, I did not expect the result that we got. So that 2-2, for a long time, Ajax had their foot on their necks. I did expect Atalanta to win this group, but still a draw is not bad. 4 points out of the first 2 games, so things look good for Atalanta. My prediction can still stay, but that was definitely surprising for me. They were down 2-0 for a lot of that game. On to the Wednesday games. All right, so starting off, we were back in those extremities of Europe again. We had Krasnodar taking on Chelsea. Mabala, Hudson-Odoi got the start. Yeah, his goal was a little bit lucky, but Chelsea did what they were supposed to do. They smacked Krasnodar up, put 4 goals in there. That confidence will definitely help their team, just like another team. But on the flip, we had Paris taking on Istanbul. Neymar again. Guys made out of Pringles and wet tissue paper, man. Like, it feels like every time Champions League is going on, Neymar is not around. But they won the game thanks to Moise Kean, which is another shock. He couldn't hit a target if he was standing on the goal line when he was at Everton. But here he is at PSG looking like, prime Zlatan. He's getting all the goals. On the flip side, though, Mbappe. What's going on, bro? You're supposed to be the next up. You're supposed to be the guy. I feel like PSG, maybe it's their setup, maybe it's the coaching, but I feel like PSG is set to make Neymar succeed, not so much to make Mbappe succeed. Yeah, he does have some runs, but I feel like he can't create outside of League One, Uber Eats League, whatever you want to call it. But I see him in the games, he's, kind of just moseying around. He'll use his speed from time to time, but I feel like against a team like this, you're supposed to put a goal in the net. Moise Kean has more goals in the Champions League than Kylian Mbappe. Moise Kean has more goals in the last 5 Champions League games than Kylian Mbappe. This is crazy. He didn't score in the bubble. He, I don't know. He's looking a little overrated-ish, but, he's still 21, and I do want to see him in that white of Real Madrid sooner or later. But right now, I don't know. I don't know. He doesn't really look that great in the Champions League for me. And, he's always fit. He doesn't really have any excuses. But for a lot of it, he just seems like he's just not in the game. The threat is there. We know, if he gets loose. But some of it is just his finishing. I don't know. But he doesn't look good to me outside of French colors for a while. You're getting goals in League One doesn't really mean anything. I think I can get 10 goals in League One, but boy retired, so I'm gonna leave that alone. But I want to see more from him, and I just expect better. All right, a couple quick fire games. Sevilla beat Rennes. We expected Sevilla to beat Rennes. They don't seem to have the quality for this level. Very likely they'll be in the Europa League when it's all said and done, or not at all. They just, thanks for the trip and goodbye, but they don't really look good right now. Dortmund beat Zenit. Again, something we expected before the game week started, so not a shocker there. 2-0, clean sheet. Looks great. Dynamo Kiev, Fenerbahce. I didn't care about this game. Ended 2-2. I don't care about the result. Barca Juve. Now, UEFA, they used every trick they could. They magnetized the balls or whatever they did to try and put the two GOATs together so that we, as a public, we get two games between Ronaldo and Messi at the twilight of their career. And here comes dirty COVID, man. It's sad, but Ronaldo less Juventus took on Barca in Italy. Didn't really check the game. My team was playing, but I was constantly checking the highlights, constantly checking, the live play-by-play, and it seemed, Juve were making chances. A couple offside goals there for Morata, but Dembele got lucky, and then Messi got a penalty. It goes like that when there's two big teams. The tension is usually, it takes little things in order to break two even teams like that. I do feel as if Ronaldo was playing, it would have been a completely different game. Defensively, Barca aren't it, and I feel like he would have feasted. He would have at least scored. Let's put it like that. I think Juve have a stronger squad, and they'll be able to take care of that. 2-0 is not just desserts. Plus, they went down to 10 men. So let's see what the rematch does in the Nou Camp. Again, I'm really sad that these games are not being played with the fans. I think it would be wonderful that atmosphere would have just been crazy. But last but not least, we got the big team. Let's get right into it. All right, now Man U fans, other Man U fans. I don't care what y'all want to say. You feel me? Like, me having Man U come out of the group third and now they're leading the group. Great. That's what I want. But because of the inconsistency, because of Ole, and the fact that he seemed as if he was just stagnant and not really a coach, I didn't expect him to change the formation. But he did. Surprising. Now, again, my predictions were based on the fact that I just tempered my expectations. Like, they come third, I expected it. They come higher than that, I'm pleasantly surprised. It's a gift that I didn't know I was going to get. You feel me? But going back, Ole definitely, he finally realized that you can't cater to Pogba. What got us that 21 game unbeaten streak between January last year into the bubble before Chelsea beat us? What gave us that streak was Fred and McTominay. Those were the two that kind of anchored us. Yeah, a little bit towards the end, you kind of put Matic in there because you wanted Pogba to play. That's in the bubble. And then all of a sudden, our creativity went down. There's not enough space for Pogba and Bruno, and there's fit problems. Reason being, as I said, we have the defensive midfielders. We went 4-5-1, which was great. But for this game, we went 4-4-2, which I've been begging for so long. But Rashford, finally we're seeing the Rashford that we wanted again. And that came from the weekend. But he seems like he just told Ole, listen, don't put me out on the wing. I don't want to play out there. I'm most effective in the middle. And if I'm playing with Martial, we can feed off each other. I can occupy one forward or one defender while he's open or whatever it might be. But they really do gel together. And today it was Greenwood and Martial. You kind of put them in to get their confidence going. Martial isn't eligible to play on the weekend, so it was It was beautiful. I loved it. 4-4-2. We gave Van de Beek a start finally. And he was playing with Pogba. Pogba kind of had freedom to kind of do what he wanted, even though he was mostly out on the left side. Kind of what we saw with him with France. You know, always trying something, and I was happy to see that. Van de Beek, to me, had a great game. He really didn't put a foot wrong, but you can see that he was trying to integrate within the team. So didn't know where he liked to get the ball or where he's going to pop up. But whenever he touched the ball, he just looked class. Like he's not as creative, but he's just a connector between the defense and the forwards, which is exactly what I thought he would do. And you know, we between our passing and our possession and everything, we just wore them down. These were Champions League semifinalists. Yes, Werner, Asterix, or whatever you want to say. But still, Nagelsmann is a great coach. You know, I feel like he's way better coach than Ole. But today we just out-talented them. And it was beautiful. What happens after that? We're able to bring on some of the players that will be starting on the weekend, and they got hungry. They came in, defense is worn down. You're able to bring on Bruno. You're able to bring on Rashford. A fresh Rashford versus who we all thought in the bubble was one of the best central defenders in the world, Upamecano. And he looked, he can't handle between Martial and Rashford. It was too much for him. I will say, I thought Ole was going to take Martial off. And it would have been bad because he really needed a goal, really needed one. I'm glad they gave him the penalty too, just to keep that drive going because Cavani's a rental. You know, Bruno didn't need it. Martial needs it because we will need the 10 and the 9 up front. It was a great performance overall. I can't really blame Maguire for anything. Lindelof looked fine. De Gea looked unbothered. Wan-Bissaka, even though he still can't attack, looked fine. But you don't need him to attack when you have movement, all that work rate in our midfield. Freaking Fred in the 90th minute, late in the game, is putting a tackle in. Rashford picks it up and slams it in the back of the net. You're not getting that from Pogba. You're not getting that from Bruno. Matic wouldn't even be that far up the field. My dad said Fred for him right now is undroppable, and I expect him to be in the team again for the weekend. I hope he goes back to McTominay and Fred. Maybe give Fred 60 minutes, if he picks up a yellow or whatever it might be. And, we take care of business with Arsenal, and it'll be great. Thanks again for tuning in. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share. And this is One Aim Sports.